Joining us at Post 9 is TD Cowen President Jeff Solomon. You're the only one who comes on here and says, I want the Fed to keep hiking rates.
Yeah, just one more. One and done. Like, I listen. Yeah, sort of. Not really, because they keep talking a good game. I only say, like, do what you say you're going to do. And I just went back. I looked at all of the different times I've been on having this conversation with you over the course of the past year. And I think last year when I came on at the end of the year or at the beginning of the year, we talked about the fact that it's just going to be higher for longer. And the Fed was going to continue to do the things that it's been doing. And the market was eventually going to get the message. I don't think they'll add another quarter point. But if they did and said, we're good to go for and now let's see how things play out, I just think it would send a strong message that we're not going to let inflation creep back in. The worst thing I think.
But do you see evidence that inflation is creeping back in?
I want to see the data that you just mentioned. I want to continue to see that data go. I'd like to see jobless claims move higher. I'd like to see unemployment actually move. I'd like to see there to be, wage pressures decreasing. Like,
that's all happening. It's just not happening to a large extent.
Right. So let's see that play out. Right. It's so when you put out a fire, right, don't you want to sit there and make sure that all the embers are done? Don't you want to see the smoke stop to know for sure that the fire's out? That's what you need to think about inflation.
But you don't want to overdo it and create bigger problems.
You can't pour enough water on the fire to keep the fire out.
But that's almost literally saying that the Fed should not accept a soft landing. Because if you want to see unemployment go up more, you're having them say that we think that, that no matter what inflation is doing right now, that's what it's going to take.
Listen, these are blunt force instruments. So I'm not rooting for this. Yeah. I just want to be clear. But I'm saying probabilistically, the idea of a soft landing is never really been engineered before. So when people are looking for that, the market always wants to see that.
You're going to have me talking about 1995 again. It was the perfectly engineered soft landing. They hiked for a year and then they trimmed back a few times and the economy.
Yeah, but the pain that was exacted in 1994 sort of made the way for that. People paid a lot for that in 1994.
In the bond market, yeah.
In the bond market, right? So and I would just say that every age is different.
Yeah.
In 95, nobody saw the internet being the thing that was going to cause massive deflation. No, nobody called that. Right. We couldn't call that. So the massive deflationary push that occurred in the late 90s is a function of productivity improvements and the growth of the internet, right, which is a massive, macro tailwind. It enabled the Fed. I don't think the Fed engineered that. I just think they got lucky.
I will say that, I singled you out, but there are those very prominent voices that we've heard from lately, Jamie Dimon, Larry Fink, who have talked about more stubborn inflation and higher rates. I don't know exactly where they are right now, but that has been the theme. And I do wonder if you think that'll be an upset for next year.
I do think that it's been stubborn, but I think it's been stubborn because there's been core inflation, like rising income levels and continued wage pressures. So, we're talking to a lot of people in the middle market lending space, in the direct lending space, we do a lot of business in that area. And one of the things we've heard is that the middle market portfolio companies are actually doing okay because they've been able to pass along price increases. So we haven't seen margin pressures. We're not seeing the squeeze that maybe people thought would be happening in some of these smaller middle market companies. Okay, that's actually really good for the economy, but it suggests to me that means that they've been able to pass along revenue, price increases and the revenue lines have kept up, so we're not seeing margin squeezes. Okay, well, that means inflation isn't really going away the way that everybody wants it to go away.